Hi everyone, I thought I would do another picture from, this is Rita Berman's book, Meine Reise durch Europa, and this page has 9 small pictures on it, so it's quite fun to do, and I thought I would do this one today. We did this one I think last week. I thought we'd have a go at this one. So I wanted to start with the these 3 flowers. I'm going to do them all the same colour. Now I have got my Black Widow pencils out. I decided that they would be a good fit for this picture because they're quite small. They can sharpen to a fine point and we've got a lot of detail going on. So I'm going to start with my pumpkin because I want to do these flowers sort of orangey yellow. So really simple, just a nice lot of orange near the centre and then less towards the edge of the petal, and we're going to add in another colour afterwards. So we should find that, oh gosh, someone's doing their recycling, quite noisy, lots of bottles banging into the bin. So sometimes I wonder how many parties people have, the amount of bottles they have going into their bins. But this lady lives alone as well. But maybe I think she might drink glass bottled water, so it gets through quite a lot that way. Now for the centre of the flower, I'm going to do it in the same colour as the petals. So I'm going to do a bit of that around there, and we're going to do the same on the others as well. So I'm really enjoying this book by Rita. This is Rita Berman's latest book. I have been doing a lot of colouring in her year or season walk book, Mein Spaziergang die Jahreszeiten, I think. Right, don't know. That's because it had it's got a lot of wintry pictures in, which I was in the mood for doing around Christmas time. But now into January, I sort of feel like I want to do some more florals. But I probably will dip in and out of wintry pictures again. The only thing is it's so cold here at the minute that doing a winter picture makes me feel really cold. Around Christmas it wasn't that cold, but we had a lot of frosts lately, so it's quite chilly. And it isn't as cold as it's been. Quite chilly. So I want a lighter orange to finish those off. Oops. Now this Black Widow set is the spider set, and in each Black Widow set you either get 24 or 48. I think this is the original set that they brought out, I'm not really sure. This is called Toadstool, and it's this sort of slightly lighter orange, which I'm going to use for next layer. I am going to add a bit of yellow because this Toadstool is quite dull. I don't know if that's the right word. It's not very vibrant, so I guess it is dull. And I really want these to show up. So if we go over with a bit of a yellow, it really adds vibrancy. Yeah, so this is, as I say, this is Rita's latest book. I'm really lucky, I've got 4 of her books now, and this one I actually bought, and I've got the postcards to go with it, which I was given, my parents gave me for Christmas, which is lovely, and all the other books that I've been gifted. So I've got her, as well as the year one, I've got the water and the land one, where the world under the microscope in water and then on land or something. I think it translates as quite vaguely, and those are really nice. But I've sort of got into the other book and this book, and I need to go back into them and the others because there are some beautiful pictures. I'm going to go to a yellow. I'm going to get into a banana colour and just finish off. So I'm going to start at the tip and make it really vibrant to make it look quite yellowy, but I am going to put quite a thick layer of yellow over the whole of each flower to really make them stand out. So the others are really pretty. The underwater one, obviously there's lots of fish and things like that, but there's also florals like sea anemones and crabs and different things, and I think it's great fun. And the land one has the most beautiful elephant picture. There's a pretty bird, I think. Is it in that one? I'm not sure. Anyway, there's all sorts of gorgeous pictures, and I just want to do every book and finish them all. But unfortunately, I've only got one pair of hands. So I'm sort of on these at the minute, but they are books that I really want to get into and I really want to finish. And obviously, where I feel that it will work, I will do a tutorial on some of the pages too. But I do tend to go for smaller pictures for tutorials. I find if I do a whole page and I do it in little excerpts, the first one is generally popular, and then they sort of decrease in popularities if people get a bit bored of seeing the same page. So it's made me think maybe I won't do too much on one page. Now this one here looks to me a bit like a poppy, so that's how I'm going to colour it. I'm just looking at the reds. We have ladybug and we have watermelon. Watermelon's slightly pinky, but it's a longer pencil, so I'm going to choose it for that reason. I haven't used it very much, watermelon. It's weird, look how long that is compared with my favourite green, which is about half the size. Sorry, I'm blurred. But anyway, so we'll start with a layer. I'm just going to do a light layer, and I'm just going to have a think about how it looks and what I want to do with it, really, because it sort of overlaps here, and we've got these sort of stamen, I guess they're called, as well. So I'm having a think, really, to see what to do. I'm also thinking a bit about background. All of the other pictures have got a dotty background. You can see it on here. I can't on there. This one doesn't, and I'm wondering whether to not do one, because it's the centre picture. It could look a bit different to the rest. It wouldn't necessarily look odd without one. So I'm just wondering whether to not. I have to think when it's done. Also, these Black Widows aren't so good for big areas, although coat with that flower quite well, because of their harder pencil, which is brilliant for details. So I'm going to start putting down some more layers. So I think around the bottom, these lines sort of guide us to knowing that we need more layers around here to start with, and here as well as here. Now these petals I'm thinking a little bit further back, so I'm making them a little bit darker here and here, a bit here as well because it's a bit faint. Now this overlappy bit is going to have some, I can't tell whether that's, yeah, that's the back bit, isn't it? And this is the front bit, so this isn't going to want to be quite as dark as actually that bit over there, because the stamen are coming out between them, which means this is the back, a petal at the back of the flower, so it would need to be quite dark. It sort of tapers off there, which is a little bit tricky, but there we go. I'm quite happy with that. It's quite light, but I think that's quite nice. Now I'm going to do these little stamen in red. You might want to do them in black. If you're thinking it's a poppy, they'd probably be black, but I don't know, I don't want black. I like red. I've just realised there is a border here. It's there. You probably all noticed it when you're probably all shouting at me. There's one there. How did you not see it? Oh dear, sorry. I'm not going to do any of the greenery yet. I'm going to move on to other flowers. So we've got that one. These three I think might be different to this one. So I'm going to do some blue next. Oof, my foot has got stuck. Oof, there we go. Blue. I quite like this darkish blue. This is called Starry Night. And I'm going to use it for these three. I think what I'm going to do with these is do something a little bit different to what I normally do and make them darker at the tip and lighter towards the top. And actually that would make sense because the light would be on the top of the flower probably. Most likely if they're out in the wild, the sun would and the light would be nearer the top. I'm going to sharpen that, it's a little bit blunt. There we go. We can get into there a a little bit. There we go. So darker at the bottom, so just layering up a little bit more, moving up towards the top. It's been rather a nice day of making lots of videos today. I was told I would get some work, so I was sort of thinking, oh, I might have to stop and do that, but I haven't had any yet. So I'm just taking advantage and having fun. I've been doing a mixture of recording and editing, so it sort of breaks it up a little bit, and also gives my camera a chance to charge every so often, because it doesn't last, the battery doesn't last all day, a few hours, maybe 3. Actually the SD card has a higher capacity than the battery. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave those at that. I'm just wondering whether to do this bit. I think I'm going to do this bit in blue as well. You don't have to. Sometimes I do these the colour of the stem. Because there's so much greenery, I thought I'd just do them blue. There we go. Now we've got one left here. I think I'm going to do that in a light pink. And then I'm going to use the purple to do the berries. So we have, oh actually, yeah, we have the Cyanide Pink. I'm just going to sharpen. It isn't that light, but it's the lightest one we've got. We've got a more purpley pink, the plum pudding. But we use this one, the Cyanide Pink, for this flower. Now here I'm going to do it darker near the centre and at the tip, and then lighten it towards the centre of the petal. Just a little bit different. And where they overlap, it's going to be a little bit darker as well. I'm going to have run out of voice by the end of today. I'm used to talking a lot, but when I talk on camera, I seem to get a more husky voice than when I'm just talking normally. There's no real reason for it. I'm talking more quietly than I would if I was in a crowded room sort of thing. Right, I'm happy with that. I am going to do these dots. I'm just keeping it quite simple. I don't think it needs to have anything too special. I think it's such a pretty picture, it sort of speaks for itself, as it were. So I'm grabbing the purple and just sharpening it. I can't remember what it's called. I'll tell you in a moment. It is the, oh yes, Amethyst. Now there are other sets of Black Widows, lots of sets. This is the spider set, there's a scorpion set, there's a set with a snake, there's several skin tone sets, there's the monarch set and a dragon set, which are quite new, but I understand from other people that they work well together, so you sort of need to have all of them but because I've got the very first set, I think it makes sense on its own. There seems to be a good range of colours. There's yellows, oranges, there's a red, there's pinks, there's purple, there's blues, there's greens, there's browns. It seems grey, black, white. But I wonder whether the other sets don't have the black and the white, for example, you know. Now we have these sort of circles in the centre. And I'm thinking, no, I'm going to do the green first and then decide. What green should we use? Let's do 2 shades of green. I think it looks a little bit better with 2 shades rather than just one. But I'm going to keep all the greenery the same. So I'm going to use the Toxic Green, which is the darkest green, to start with, to put in some darker areas. Actually, I don't know if this is the darkest green. Anyway, it's here now. It's what I'm using. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just doing the areas where the leaves touch something else a little bit darker. You I'm going to do the end of that as well. You can do it however you wish. You can do the tips darker, you can do one edge, you know, like the bottom darker, something like that. But I do think it looks nice to have a mixture of colour rather than just the one shade of green. If I was going to do one shade only of colours in a picture, I'd probably use pen, because you get a nicer, more vibrant colour. But because I'm using pencil, I want to make use of the attributes of the pencil, which are that it can blend and you can mix colours. I did get gel pens for Christmas and I want to try and blend them. That's my was my goal, why I wanted them. But I haven't had a go at playing with that yet. I've had so many new things and just wanted to get on and colour and do pictures, and I haven't actually done that yet. But I will at some point. If it works, I will show you how to do it. If it doesn't work, then obviously I won't have anything to show you. So we'll have to wait and see when I get round to doing that. So I hope I don't really need to explain too much about what I'm doing. Basically doing some darker areas and then just fading the colour out so that when I put another colour on top, which I'm going to do now, it will just blend it in. Thinking. I've got the cicada, which is almost fluorescent, or I've got a bluey green, which I think I use. This is the Everglade. If it's too bluey, we'll put some yellow on top. As simple as that. But we'll see what it looks like when it's done. You can't really judge until you've finished and you look back. I think you have to remember sometimes when you look at people doing huge oil paintings, they'll paint a little bit and then they'll stand back and they'll admire it. And it might look a bit weird, but what they're doing is, because they've been working on a tiny detail, they need to see how it looks in context with the rest of the picture. And we have to do the same thing too. We might be working on something much smaller, but I'm still at the moment just concentrating on this one little leaf. And I need to remember to just look at the whole picture to see how it all works together at some point. Obviously I've decided what I'm doing with the leaves and I'm doing all of them. So I'm not going to look until I've finished. Once I've finished colouring all of them, I shall step back and look. Not step back physically, but mentally step back, look at the whole picture, and then decide whether it needs some yellow on the leaves or whether I think it's fine as it is. And the joy of pressing quite lightly, which is what I am doing, is there is room for another layer of colour if I want it. But these are quite vibrant, so if I don't do another layer, they will still look really good. So that's great. Yes, I have got all the other Black Widows on my wish list, but I'm quite happy with my one set. You know, I was given these, I was gifted them, and I just feel very grateful for those. And I know there are a lot of needy people around at the moment who need things like food and fuel, and so I'm very happy for them to be getting things rather than me getting pencils. I want to do some yellow. Now I want it to look more vibrant, so I'm going to pick the very bright yellow, the banana that we used for these, and I'm just going to go over the whole of each green piece of green, whether it's a stem or a leaf, with this colour. Make it stand out a little bit. It's quite tricky in the UK at the minute because a lot of people are struggling to heat their houses. It's cold, and food and fuel have gone up a lot, so people who are already pushed are really pushed at the minute. And in April, fuel bills are due to go up again, because at the moment the government has a regulator who decides what the maximum is that companies can charge for fuel. And because the wholesale prices and things like that have gone up so highly, it's quite complicated. There's lots of reasons why prices have gone up. It means that in April they're going to increase the cap, as they call it, so that companies are allowed to charge more, and they will be allowed to charge up to 50% more, which is a huge increase if you have to think about it. I'm very fortunate, my husband earns well and we don't have to worry, but so many people will be. Right, I'm looking at the circles in the middle, and the blue flowers have got little circles coming out of them. So what I'm thinking is it's all connected to this. It's all going to be the same colour. And what I'd like to do is to pop a bit of light blue into the picture. So I'm just going to sharpen my light blue and put some dots of light blue. Now you might, this is called Forget-Me-Not, want to use a pen for this because it is very fine. A fine liner or something, or I have got a Posca this colour, but the nib is actually, this pencil is finer than that. It might be easier to dot it in with a fine liner, but it depends what colours you've got. So I'm not going to try and do anything fancy, although these get a little bit bigger. I just want a nice amount of blue. I don't really know what it's supposed to be, but I don't think that always matters. I just feel like this colour is sort of lacking, so that's what we're using. Really, it's got nothing to do with, I think, is it just pollen? Let's say it is. It's just pollen coming out of the flowers. I mean, I did think initially it might be little stones, as if it's in a garden, but it's not now, is it? But I know that talking about the fuel poverty and things, it's a problem in a lot of countries, and a lot of places are a lot worse off than here. And fortunately, our temperatures don't go down as cold as some countries do, so that's lucky. But even so, it's not fun for people who are really cold. Now I'm thinking background. What are we going to do? We've got some yellow. We could do yellow. I'm just looking at all the colours that I haven't used. I've got an orange. I don't really want to bring orange back in. Got our plum pudding. I think we've got enough ready pinks. We've got green. Got browns. I don't want to make it brown. I'm going to do yellow. So this yellow is the lemonade. And I am just going to have a look at where Rita's lines are and just colour inside those. And just get a little bit of yellowy background for our picture. There's also been talk actually in the news today, which is quite interesting, about the television licence. Now in the UK we have to have a licence to watch certain channels, the BBC, which probably most people may have heard of even if they're not in the UK, if they know anything about the UK. And we have to pay, and that pays towards the television channel and the radio channels that they put out. And it means that we don't have to have any commercials on the channel. So we pay about, I'm trying to remember, maybe £13 a month for this. And we can also use the, we can catch up on programmes that we've missed using their sort of player, as it's called. And we also have commercial channels. And we have satellite and things like that we can pay extra money for. Some commercial channels are free, some commercial channels aren't. So there's been a bit of a debate about what's going to happen about paying for this channel, and it's quite interesting. I've got mixed feelings. I think if it remained free but had adverts, I probably wouldn't mind. But I know some people really dislike them, so they wouldn't want that. I'm just trying to make that. I've just realised we've been colouring squiff the whole time. But it's just going to be, it just interests me. Now the last thing I'm doing is I'm wondering whether to put a few dots of pen, on it. Where's the pen I want? Oh, where is it gone? Where are you, pen? I've got a mug here with some pens in and it's hiding. I'm going to have to stand up. Oof. There we go. I'm going to use my yellow Posca pen to do something unusual. Normally, just hit it on the tripod. Oops. Normally, I use my highlights on flowers. I'm going to do it on the leaves this time, because I never normally make a big to-do of the leaves, and I just think it'll be a bit of fun to just put some dots here and there to just make it look a bit different. Now I've done that, so I'm going to be running my hand through the dots. Are they even showing up? I think they are a little bit. Down there. Let's go through there. Up there. Okay, just a little bit different. Just a different idea for you. I don't know if the yellow shows up enough. It might have been better to have, sorry, I hope I don't shade it too much, but I've got to make sure I don't put my hand in the wet pen. It might be better to do it in a dark green. I'm not very keen, I have to admit, on the colour of the green Posca. So I'm not going to use that. It's a little bit too bright and too bluey for this picture. There we go. I think that barely shows, but it just gives you an idea of something you could do if you want to. So I am going to leave that there now and leave you. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day and happy colouring.